thinking about how it all happened. Started out just a number on a napkin. Cracked the joke, started getting you laughing. Ended up in my truck. We started talking, started falling. Only some faded old bucket seats. Every road in this town, we wore them down. Remember how you and me started right here in this Tacoma. You leaning over, sneaking in a red light kiss. Me going crazy, watching you make me miss every turn like this. When I turn that key, I go right back to where we started fast, started right. Looking back, you and I started right here. Started out with you picking out a playlist. You were side seat singing like you're famous. Couldn't slow down, how could you blame us for falling in love? We couldn't help it, just felt it. Like the songs that you kept on repeat. Every road in this town, we wore them down. Remember how you and me started right here in this Tacoma. You leaning over, sneaking in a red light kiss. Me going crazy, watching you make me miss every turn like this. When I turn that key, I go right back to where we started fast, started right. Looking back, you and I started right here.
We are rocking and rolling. Look at you guys, Brooks and Austin Gee.
What's going on? Better late than never.
How you guys doing? Look at that compound. I love it. Really artistic, good energy in there.
Yeah,
How you guys doing?
We're blocking all the trash behind us.
Yeah,
with our bodies, but we're doing great. How are you?
Doing great, guys. Super stoked to have you guys. Of course, the latest EP you guys released, Started Right Here, was released just in October. Available now wherever people can listen to their music. Really fun, wonderful EP, guys. Congratulations. I mean, Me and Your Memory, that thing's been like a earworm. Like, we haven't stopped listening to that stuff. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you. That's probably the one we're most proud of off this EP.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Definitely the most story aligned with our own lives.
Interesting. I love that. Yeah, and we'll get to the new tunes in a second. But yeah, like you said, Brooks, I wonder if that isn't part of the satisfaction when you release an EP like this that everyone is loving. I mean, you guys pretty much wrote the whole thing. Sure, some people helped, like Mason Thornley, but it came from you, right, Austin? And like, it came from you guys. It came from like your emotions, and it's now out in the world. Isn't that super gratifying?
No, absolutely. Especially with this EP we just released, Started Right Here. This is by far the most personal to us. We really wanted to dive into our backstory and who SixForty1 is, and let all of our fans and even new fans know like where we come from. And that's why a couple of the songs we threw in a couple of our college town little landmarks, just to give people a sense of where we came from. So it's been really fun watching people's reactions to this EP, and it's been the most well received out of all of them, for sure.
Love that. Well said, Austin. Well said. And Brandon, let me ask you this. You know, you guys met at Murray State in Kentucky. You guys are what is it about Kentucky talent? And the reason why I ask is, we've been here in Nashville like a year, a little bit over a year.
Nice.
And one of the things we've discovered very quickly is that Kentucky is like a mecca of music. Like, the amount of talent that comes from the bluegrass state is absolutely bananas, and people don't talk about it enough. What is it about Kentucky, Brandon?
I think it took a while for Kentucky to catch up with Georgia, honestly.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Tennessee. But no, you got people like Carly Pierce. I'm pretty sure
Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton is from
Yeah,
Kentucky.
I mean, Brooks. We have also Sturgill Simpson as well. We have all those folks, right?
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali. No, I'm just kidding. He's from my hometown. But yeah, no, Kentucky talent is really catching up with, the rest of this region, the rest of the South. So we're super proud of it, and we're proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and like you said, I think it's becoming like more open now that, the amount of talent that comes from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Austin, share with me how you guys met. Obviously, you guys talk about this probably like every other day, and apologies. But just like the way you guys met in the university there in Kentucky, and how that process was.
Yeah, so we met at Murray State University in Kentucky. It was our sophomore year of college. A sorority on campus was throwing a philanthropy event. It's called Mr. MSU, and it's basically the top guys from every fraternity compete in like a male beauty pageant. And I think we just got chosen because we could sing and no one else in our fraternities had talents. So we got thrown up on stage and we didn't win by looking at us, obviously, but we definitely won in the long run. I was backstage at a dress rehearsal the week of, and Brooks came in and I was playing an original song. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you wrote music. We should write sometime." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And like typical Nashville, you never do. It's like months later when you reconnect. And
Yeah.
I met him out, and I told him I had an internship at in Louisville, Kentucky, his hometown. And he says, "Well, come on over after work and let's try to write something." So sure enough, the first day of work, I was in my cubicle and I get a text from Brooks saying, "Hey, come over." So I did, and we wrote a song that night. And it might not have been good, but the chemistry started, and we continued to write that entire summer, putting songs out on SoundCloud, just hoping for anybody to hear it. And luckily somebody from Nashville heard one of our songs and told us we can record an EP if we wanted to. So that's what we did. So that's how it kind of got kickstarted.
Yeah. But Austin, you said something really interesting there, and it's a chemistry part. I mean, because people right here in this town all the time, every day, someone's writing right now, meeting people, but like the chemistry is it's almost like a miracle when you find like a partner like Brooks that like really complements you that way. Is it not? Isn't it like almost like like lightning in a bottle?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I never really thought of it like that, but it is kind of a miracle to meet somebody, especially from Murray State. Like it's a small school in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, and to find somebody who wants the same goal as you, it's pretty hard to come by, especially in that town.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Honestly,
No,
but it did.
and sure glad it did because it got us here.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And Brooks, let me ask you about you. I mean, you're such a talented musician, but going back to the genesis of how you started, I love in your story how your uncle played like a pretty big part in your upbringing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he played in the Freddie Jones band up in Chicago. Just talk to us a little bit about the influence your uncle had on you and like how that music got into your bloodstream.
I never really played with him. He didn't teach me to play guitar or anything like that. Only really talked to him a handful of times, but I knew that he had this band that was pretty successful, and I actually enjoyed their music. And my dad would play them all the time, in the car growing up. So that just kind of gave me that, that motivation and the know-how to just, I can write my own songs like he can. Yeah, so that was a bigger influence than I recognized growing up. It wasn't until like we started talking about it more that I realized that he was a pretty big influence on me without talking to him that much. But
Yeah, absolutely. I think just probably seeing someone in your family like actually be doing it psychologically, that breaks a barrier, right? Like that's probably really impactful.
Yeah, and he was good. He wrote good songs. I did.
Yeah, he sure was.
They never got their big break. They definitely deserved it, though.
He sure was.
He made you start. He let you start writing. I mean, you started writing at 10 years old. He wrote his first song, and I didn't start till senior year of high school. So, I mean, I wish I had that influence growing up.
Yeah. Well, Austin, you're no slouch though. Don't like you are no slouch at all, man. What like tell us a little bit about the records or like a musical moment when you were like a child, a concert or an album that like set your soul on fire, Austin, that you were like, this is it. This is what I freaking want to do.
Man, I remember I grew up singing all the time. I was in choir and I did school theater and plays. I was that kid growing up, but it wasn't until I got my first Rascal Flatts record and I heard Gary sing. I was like, oh my God, like that's one of the best singers I've ever heard. I want to sing like him. So from that point forward, I was just trying to sing like Gary, and it made it fun. And it wasn't until I met Brooks that I realized that once you write your own songs and try to do it yourself, it's a lot more fun that way and a lot more rewarding. And but yeah, ever since my first Rascal Flatts album, I wanted to do music full time, basically.
I love it. Yeah, that's great. And one of the things I love about 641 and you guys, both Brooks and Austin, is like you guys like both play the instruments and you guys can sing, right? Because the reason why I bring it up is like it must suck like if you can't sing and you play the guitar. Like I think about this all the time. Like someone like Pete Townsend of The Who, he writes all these great songs and then he can't sing. He has to get Roger to sing them for him,
True. Yeah.
But you guys don't.
Nashville, though. There's a lot of great writers, Hall of Fame writers that don't sing their own songs,
Right.
We're lucky to be able to sing it. I certainly would not be fulfilled if I couldn't sing the songs I wrote. So
Same.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
we kind of incorporate that into the duo. I mean, we both know we can sing, we both know we can play instruments pretty well, so why not utilize that? There's some duos that work just fine with one person doing the majority and the other person doing the writing side or whatever. But we take pride in all of it. I mean, we like to write all of our own songs most of the time together, sometimes not, but we like to do that and play them out live, and it's definitely fun on stage doing it all.
Yeah, yeah. And Brooks, you said something interesting there. Do you think it would be hard for you if you wrote like a masterpiece and you had to give it to someone to sing it, basically? Like, could you do that? I always find that fascinating in this town. Like, I would have like the hardest time giving away my baby.
I wouldn't. I like a check. I want that check in my mailbox. But, no, I was just trying to make the point that if I couldn't sing, I wouldn't write songs because I don't want to sing them, but I definitely I'd be able to still sing it if I gave it away. So yeah, that was just kind of the point I was making. But if Keith Urban wants one of our songs tomorrow, he can have it.
Yeah. Of course. Austin, and you guys, like, I want to ask about your stage presence, because just on research, looking at your performances, you guys are amazing live performers. You guys are in great state, the energy, the way you interact with your fans, it's really peak. What is like, the 30 minutes before you hit the stage? Because, I'll give you an example. One time I was with the guys of Green Day up in Long Island, and they like started beating each other up. Like that's how they got into stage. What is like you guys before you guys hit the stage?
We do the same thing. We like to cover the face before we go on. No, about 30 minutes before, we're like usually just backstage in the green room, either doing vocal warm ups, maybe some push ups, jumping up and down, just kind of getting the blood flowing before we run on stage. It's really just purely mental. I mean, you're about to go perform, whether it be for 10 people or 1,000 people. So you got to act like you're performing for 1,000 people every night. At the stage we're at, some of our shows, especially headlining, there's not a lot of people there at this point, which we're totally fine with, but we go out there every night and act like we're playing for thousands of people. And because we know, somebody in the crowd that night might need some healing from music, and that's our job. So we just go out there and try to give it 110% every show.
Yeah, and it shows. It's wonderful. Brooks, let me ask you about the new EP. And what I want to ask is really all songs, all of them, you created this way, and I don't know how you guys did it. You managed basically to talk about universal themes like love and heartache and things that we've all, felt, but you managed to do it in such a beautiful middle ground. And what I mean is you never went either too dark, and you also didn't go too sappy. Like that's what really the songwriting was like just so like perfectly made. How did you guys do that?
So we do write with some talented writers, and our producer's one of the best in town. But it was a happy accident, we like to say. We definitely try to make it a cohesive story once we started to compile all these songs that we thought we wanted to release, from the start of the EP to the end. We never wanted to get too sad. We never wanted to be too lovey-dovey or happy. The goal of this EP was to bring some energy and some emotion to our set. And I think we, accomplished that. But from the beginning of the EP, it's, this beginning of the relationship and fireworks, gets a little rocky in the middle. And then at the end, you get All Night, where you kind of realize that it is what it is. You still got to live your life, and get over things, make the best out of things. But we definitely got lucky with it not being too harsh on either side.
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah,
it is a lot of trial and error. I always find that fascinating in songwriting, how like one word can make all the difference. For sure. Absolutely. Well, you guys have been so good with your time, Austin. Actually, let me ask you both this question. We're finishing 2021. And, I used to ask in 2020, how the year was for our guests. And that was kind of easy because it was such a hard year. But 2021 in a way was also hard, really hard in like a different kind of way. How are you guys going to look back at 2021 individually and with the duo, with the band?
Yeah, I'm super grateful for 2020, because I think we would have gone a different direction with our music. Who knows what would have happened? Maybe we would have had a record deal. We wouldn't have had much creative freedom this year as we did. So with what we're writing now, we have a lot, in the works, and I'm excited about the direction that we're going with everything. So this year, definitely our creativity was at a peak. Hopefully that continues. And we met a lot of great people this year that, hopped on board. So I'm grateful for this year and for 2020.
Yeah, me too. Just one of for independent artists like us, 2020 we had a lot of momentum pre-COVID, but like every artist, you got to kind of regroup, and we kind of had to not start from scratch, but kind of build back up what we already had from the year before, because like especially with live shows, with everything stopped, we kind of had to go into writing mode, which was great. We wouldn't have had these songs, but this past year we've had to learn how to build our set back up and learn how to perform again and just get those shows back that we had before. So it's been challenging, but it's been fun, and it's really tested our creativity and our artistry. But that's what we signed up for. So we're looking forward to next year for sure.
Oh yeah, we're hearing through the grapevine that big things are coming for you guys in 2022. So really, really excited for what's coming. You guys are amazing, great individuals, great talent. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, guys. We really, really look forward to continue seeing you guys blossom.
Thanks for having us. That was fun.
Yeah,
absolutely, guys. Yeah, absolutely. See you around town.
Have a good one.